Quiet. Is Jock Welcome everyone. Just start with the whakatauki and Mudiake, whakalunga, hokai. Get to the second last time for onwards and upwards. I've got an apology from Councillor Ludeman. I've got Dane coming in and out of online. They're both crook. So I'll take it that Dane's given us a warning. So I'll take an apology from Councillor Ludeman and either late or apology from Dane just because he's flicked offline 2 minutes ago, not his fault. I'll move. Someone happy to second it. Councillor Phelps, all those in favour? Aye. Those against? Any urgent or late items? I haven't got any. No? Conflicts of interest? Public forum? No one in the public forum? We're off to strategic planning and policy report from Peter. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll take the report as read and might note that there's a minor correction in attachment A, but I'll only address it if that becomes a discussion.
Thank you for that. Questions to Peter before we head into the general discussion? Becky, you got a question? No? No questions? Pretty straightforward report. You can certainly feel we're heading towards a transition changeover time. So, Councillor Volwiller.
Just looking at the chart here, attachment A is there's some numbers in the red squares there, threes and levels. What
They represent nominal dates. If they're prospective, not confirmed. And now that we're on that table, I might just bring it to your attention. Under bylaws, halfway down the page, there's a freedom camping reference, and the words may need to be brought forward to BC. That was a working comment. That's not in play at the moment.
Okay, I'll just note Councillor Catherwood is in online. Welcome, Dane. If there are no further questions for Peter, no problem. General discussion, probably looking for a recommendation. Councillor Herbert's moved. Can I have a second, please? Councillor Finch. Any further discussion? Vote. All those in favour? Aye. Those against? Thank you. Thank you for that, Peter. And we're off to the second one, which is trade. Or the boss. We head straight to the top. So, management accounts report. Over to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this report is really to say that there are many management accounts. And that's we're in what you call period 13 at the end of the year. So there's a changeover, and also we're transitioning to the new system, which we're getting lots of stuff into, but not a lot out of yet. We're still working through the reporting coming out of that. So this is just to say that it's still a work in progress. And
there was a bit of an oxymoron in the recommendation that we're receiving a report to not receive the report, but the report is that we have no report to receive. Is that
correct.
No, that's like voting. And Simon.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I was a wee bit puzzled because we never had anything at the last meeting why we couldn't have had a summary for the end of the year or a summary for the year to date, even if you, yeah. And if I follow on from that, how is it tracking?
Through you, Your Worship, the audit's tracking really good. And the reason we didn't bring anything to this one or the last one is that we do, at the end of the year, we do some cash accounts. It's just cash transactions, and they get reviewed by budget holders who have to give us explanations for things. And then we're straight into doing the year-end journals, which make all the reporting we used to do look absolutely ludicrous. We can't bring the same reports. We have to go down all the way to the end of the annual report to get that. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I just thought you would have had an end of year number though by now, a cash flow number. You could have, yeah, anyway.
We will be bringing you the actual draft annual report. You'll be getting that early October. So, because that'll be coming to the risk and assurance meeting on the 9th of October before the council meeting with David's review and stuff. And he's working quite closely with all of us as well, which is really good.
That would be good to have some figures to go back to. So,
Mr. Chairman, just checking, Sharon, there were figures presented to risk insurance with the other week. We have something around that. We haven't.
No, we could have done if we hadn't posted those interview journals, but we did just because we're in a tight time frame and we're about 3 weeks less than we have normally because of trying to get this through for the election.
I'm increasingly feeling like last week's fish and chip paper, but it'll be good to have one sign up. We've got a recommendation to Councillor Finch, second to Councillor Graham. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? We've got that wee arrow heading in the right direction for the next one. Greg, troubleshooting.
Thank you, Your Worship. This one is just, I'm just going to take it as read. It's information on our obviously our investment, where it's going. And it's looking positive.
Questions, Councillor Volwell?
Any update for August?
Through Your Worship, not yet, but it'll be today or tomorrow. It'll be like right now. I can email it.
It might be even better, I think.
It looks good.
Nice. We know how these things happen. It's only a snapshot in time, but at least it's encouraging this year because we're going to need it. Report back there, I'll move it. Someone second, please. Councillor Phelps. Sorry, I should have got any discussion before we put the vote. If not, all those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Over to the properties update. Is it you, Steve? Greg? Sharon? Radio?
Thank you, Your Worship. No, we'll take this one as read as well, but just to update and say that we've now actually have a signed contract as of Monday. Sonia tells me for 19 St Catherine Street in Kotanga. So even though we still have 3 there, they all have people, but the contracts just aren't signed yet, so they're not all allocated, which is really good.
I think it's really, what a tonic it is to go past that subdivision and see the first house going up. And when you've got 6 sections, 6 out of 14, they're going to scramble. Come spring and people are going to see they're going to miss out. That's going to be a success before we know it. And very quickly, we're going to be looking around for our next one. Has the next council got the gumption to follow through, because it's been nothing but an overwhelming success. So what?
Sterling, is he?
Yeah. Well, that's just what I'm saying. Get into Sterling. Any discussion before we go to the vote? Councillor
Really
Phelps.
good.
I'll discuss just a question on number 5, Keppel Road. We've got 1K in rates. What would that be for? I mean, we haven't bought anything.
Yes. Yeah, through Your Worship, that's the land on Keithmore Road is actually council owned. That's out the back of the properties.
It's the wee driveway. The
Yeah,
house and the
yes.
driveway. Anything further, team? Someone want to move a recommendation? Councillor Finch, followed by Vol Wheeler. All those in favour? Those against? This time, seeing it's your name on it, Sharon and Picker, I'll go to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. We'll take this one as read as well. It's pretty straightforward, but I guess just of note is that on Monday we have a new person starting in the finance department to cover Jordan's maternity leave position, and we also have a new young fresh face on the front desk who started on Monday. And happy for any questions.
Great to see her there. What's happening, guys? Team, sorry. Gender non-specific.
Yes.
Councillor,
For that report on the all UAGC on the swimming pools and what have you, there was nothing written down of what a swimming pool we're getting. Are we on the same thing? On page,
21.
yeah.
Through you, Your Worship, yes, that's just a list of the pools that got the grant last year. We haven't paid any to date.
Right.
And it's, that total shouldn't be in there though. It's last
No,
year's total.
but this sort of,
okay, I've got a recommendation back on page 17. No, gone every time. Councillor Payne, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. You're not allowed to say anything at the moment, Gaynor, you know that. Any discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Thank you. That brings that section of the meeting to an end in record time. It would have been
to the last meeting of the Infrastructure Strategy and Operations Committee, the 4th of September. Any apologies? We have apologies from
Councillor Ludeman.
Councillor Ludeman. All those in favour?
Hold on.
Against?
Someone better move it second.
Oh, sorry.
I'll move it.
Seconded Councillor Phelps. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? No declarations of interest. Before we start carry on with the meeting, we have a presentation to make for
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Members in charge.
I'm in charge, so we've got one of my young team here. Mitch, would you like to come up to give your presentation?
this flash.
It is very flash. So this is Mitchell Scott, who is a water treatment operator, and he has just attained his level 4 New Zealand certificate in drinking water treatment, which required him to do about 2 years of study, which included online work, block course attendance, and a practical assessment. Worthy of noting also, Mitch is a bit of a star. He's recently completed his New Zealand Civil Aviation Rural Pilot Licence, which enables him to fly our drone. And we've got a drone that is about to be used for water leak detection. It can do water sampling over rivers and ponds and things. And Mitch is going to be our pilot. So you can call him Maverick, but I'd like to call him Top Gun, but well done, Mitch.
The certificate of completion of apprenticeship.
Yes, you get 2 certificates. One is the actual NZQA qualification, and this comes through candidates who do the training through the New Zealand Apprenticeship Program.
We get to shake hand twice.
We also that we do as well for Mitch, just to acknowledge that he is now competent as an operator of a conventional water treatment plants in the district. So well done, Mitch.
Well done.
Now we do
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we'll now proceed to item number 1, which is an item for information, operations update transportation. James, welcome to the podium.
I'll take the board as being led and accepting questions.
No questions? Any discussion? No? Someone prepared to move the recommendation on page 3? Councillor McCrosty, second. Councillor Mackie. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Item number 2. Operations update, green space and compliance, various staff. Michael, welcome.
Chairman, I'm happy to take the item as read and to take any questions.
All right, questions for Mike? This is a pretty short meeting. No questions. All right, someone prepared to move the recommendation on page 8 that the Infrastructure Strategy Committee receives operations update. Moved, Mayor, seconded Councillor Phelps. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Okay, too easy. I can see why we're going down to 9 councillors. Item number 3, operations update water. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Chair. So I take the report as read, but I just want to update on a couple of matters. One is that we have got a reported issue at the moment in Milton on discoloured water, and that we've had several CSRs over the last few weeks. We've been flushing. It doesn't appear to be improving at all. So we're going out with some comms today for the community to ask them if they haven't reported to report. One of the reasons for that will give us then a township map so we can see how widespread the issue is, and then also what type of pipe that water might be coming through. Don't appear to be any issues at the plant with the quality of the water that's going into the retic, but once it gets there, it's adopting quite a bit of colour, quite noticeable. In patches, the community library is fine, their water's fine, but they have seen water at the Coronation Hall, isn't, for example. So that's why we just want to try and work out how widespread the issue is. We'll be taking our water tanker out this afternoon so that people have access to, I want to say clean drinking water. I like to think we're producing that, it's just coloured. But this will be water out of the filling station in Balclutha for people that want to go and fill up bottles so they don't have something brown coming out of there. Before they put their tea bag in, the water's already got colour in it. So that's an active thing. Also on page 13, I apologise, there's an editing error in the last paragraph in the Te Mata Arawai update should have been deleted. It repeats what was in last month's report. And the other update is on our North Bruce improvement. So fully compliant. We were hoping to lift the boil water notice yesterday, but the regulator has asked to review our sample, our testing and our compliance results just to satisfy them. Although we're their supplier, we would normally make the decision and tell them we've done it. But because this boil water notice has been in place since March 2023, they just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So that will hopefully, they've said they're hoping to review the results by tomorrow. So that is imminent. And I know this might be a question from Councillor Herbert. We've already started engaging for Moa Flat to do the same improvements.
Questions for Linda? Councillor Finch. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. I noticed quite a few of the ponds have got some overflow. To fix that, do we need to build up the height of the sides? Would that fix it or not?
It's not necessarily the best approach, sorry, through the chair. We would try and stop what's coming in. We have talked about Tapanui creating some kind of weir, I guess, or raising a point where it does run out a little to give us a bit of extra latitude there.
Right. And on page 15, rural water, and I assume the breakages, all the service requests, there's still 102 of them. Can you tell us what the issues are still happening there?
Through the chair, I can certainly get that detail in terms of the reporting we get out of the system, but generally those would be breakages or third-party damage or no waters. So if people don't have water coming in, we get those calls as well.
Yeah, and going through the non-compliance and stuff, there's a lot of red, 100% achieved. Well done. It's really, really good to see that.
This is the next report.
Result. Sorry, yes.
Councillor McCroskey.
With the North Bruce scheme, the aluminium advisory, you're saying that could still stay on for a while. Will that drop as is it due to the process of how you're treating the water that we're getting the residuals? So if we can keep it clear off the boil water notice, that should drop away.
Yes, so through the chair, we'll continue to monitor that. And if there's areas, particularly at the end of a line, where you might find that that's still gathering, then we'll flush at the end of those lines to clear that.
Yeah, the other thing, there's been a few complaints from Whitehall with the colouring of water in there too, and is that just the changeover of tanks, etc.?
Through the chair, I wouldn't expect that, because it's water that's coming from, although maybe it is the Milton water.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed it, but that's certainly something I can get the team to have a look at, how many requests we've had come through.
In Moy Pay, there's just been 2 or 3 people ring me.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Cadogan.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chair. Linda, a few questions on page 13 for the LRC report. Firstly, infringement/abatement. Is that fine? Will we be fined for that?
Through the chair, yes, certainly for an infringement as a fine, it's $750.
Yeah, okay, 750, we'll keep it in proportion, but I'm quite frustrated in the overall environment and the spirit of cooperation that shows. We're looking at a council that over the last 5 years has done everything we can. We know there's 100 million in the corner. We know we've got the highest rates in New Zealand. The ORC, historically, just like us, agreed to the plants. There's no criminality or negligence here. This was a plant that was built and consented by the ORC. It is functioning exactly the same and doing exactly what it meant to do. Our encumbrance from the past is that we're 100 million in a corner, we've got the highest rates and we're doing everything we can. And at the same time, they forget the part that they played historically and they fine us. What does the ratepayer get for this? We're doing our bloody best. And I think it has to be said to our ORC, a fine achieves nothing. Go back and have a look at the historic part that you played in this. It's the same as ours. We're doing our best, but we're trying to fix things from the past. Quite frustrating.
Your Worship, through the chair, I acknowledge that. We do get abatements. It's not perfect, and often with wastewater, it's the incoming product that can cause issues. But it's still, the abatement notice is what we focus on, which is fixing or rectifying the problem.
And I appreciate that, Linda, but actually they consented to the construction of that plant. They're as culpable as we are to this historic issue. Finding our ratepayers is not going to achieve a spirited difference. We're doing our best. $100 million plus, and the highest rates prove it. What more do they want? Frustrating, disappointing, actually.
Councillor Katambi, do you have your hand up before?
But I'm fine.
Councillor Martin, did you have your hand up, or is that just a Statue of Liberty sort of thing?
I'm saluting you.
Right. Right, Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Linda. Mine's sort of on the same vein as far as the same Tapanui wastewater treatment plant goes. And we have as a council been quite focused on the I&I for a long time. And it's sadly we're the victims of some of this historic design, but it would seem that I&I has not been the issue. When we look at there's 4 non-compliant properties in Tapanui, yet the pond overflowed for a month. It's like we haven't done the wrong thing, because obviously we need to get those private properties dealt with. But obviously we've got network issues of our own. And so I'm wondering where the next plan is, or what, because we can't have that, but the I&I has not been the silver bullet or silver fix that we thought it might be, from what I can gather.
Yes, through the chair, we do. We are aware that there are some manholes that need addressing. I believe one of them has already been repaired. We've had some camera work being done, and we have budget set aside to do some other repairs. We know, I think there's 10 manholes in total.
It might be quite surprising what we found. Unpleasant surprises, I think. But I mean, it highlights to me the issue that the I&I has not been. Thank you.
Right, any further questions or discussion?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, just to check with the technical people I'm assuming I&I includes I&I associated with the manhole.
Yeah. Well, the point I'm making is that we've been focused on that, and there's only 4 houses in Tapu that aren't compliant, so 4 houses wouldn't make the pond overflow for a month, I wouldn't think.
Just through you, Your Worship, just in general terms, usually about a third of the I&I is from what we're dealing with properties.
Yep.
Another third is usually stormwater laterals, sewer laterals, so the connection between the main and the household. And the other third is in our system. So, but to deal with the third in our system, you can't replace all of the pipelines. You can do work on the manholes.
Yeah.
So that, and just in general terms from papers from Water New Zealand from 15 years ago, that's sort of the breakdown. So the bit we could deal with immediately and relatively easily is the household connection side.
And that's right. It has been
And then there's still other issues. There was a capacity issue at the plant during that period as well. It didn't have as much going through it as it should have. And there's some work planned in the next week to rectify that issue, where compared to flows that had gone through the plant previously. And that, so that has contributed to it staying longer than it should have. So it's not just, it is the I&I from the rest of the network as well as the bits that we've fixed. So I&I is all of those other sources.
Thank you.
Further questions, discussion? If not, back to page 12 for the recommendation that to receive the operations update water report. The mover, Councillor Finch, seconded, Councillor Wheeler, all those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. We'll go to page 21, item number 4, the compliance update. Kieran? Right. Yours again.
So, you're through the chair, just happy to take the report as read. Noting there is quite a lot of green on here, which is pleasing. And once we get the Balmoral to a scheme, I expect page 24 to look a whole lot different too. In North Bruce, you can see in July they're fully compliant and all green.
Questions for Linda?
It's well done, big improvements.
You reckon they'll all be compliant by 87 days time?
Unfortunately, I can't guarantee
It's
that.
not 35,
Your worship.
that's the sad.
It is getting greener though, isn't it? So
Yes.
that's promising. Do we have no further questions or discussion? Someone prepared to move the recommendation on page 21? Councillor Payne, seconded Councillor McCroskey. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right, on to page, thank you, Linda. On to page
45.
45. Flying through. Be able to get home, time to watch Tipping Point. Right, the item number 5 is the infrastructure strategy and delivery update. Donna, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So just before I take the report as read and ask if there's any questions, just under staff movements, we also have another new team member starting the 15th of September. That's Kushla Mowat. She'll be the infrastructure and delivery administrator. And I have some hot off the press updates regarding Balmoral Tuapeka, which I thought you might be interested in as well. So the flushing program is working really, really well. We're currently flushing at Cockleshell Reservoir section, and next week we're planning to start the flushing program from Lawrence. And with that, we'll actually be flushing to the reservoir, through the pipelines, extending hosing towards Hospital Creek Channel, and we'll be using it, running the pipe, or the hose rather, via the natural water course along Hospital Creek Channel, so it won't be impacting any private property owners. However, as a courtesy, the people who own the properties in front of that channel will just let them know in case they're wondering what this big pipe is. We are still monitoring requirements have been satisfied with the water take requests, consent requirements with ORC, so that's now all go and clear. We are still waiting for the compliance certification for the chemical side of this project. It is rather frustrating. We seem to be ticking the boxes and installing and updating as required, but as of yesterday, we've now been advised that the safety chemical compliance officers believe they've found other things that they would like us to address. The project manager has emailed them and phoned, and at this stage, we're waiting till next week to advise us what those items are. But just to give you some clarity, we've had to install jib in the firewall area, or firewall jib in the caustic room. We've had to install a smoke alarm. We've had to implement a windsock, and we've also appeased the caustic room Moet channel percentile requirements. So we've done everything that's been asked, but as of yesterday, there's more that's come to light. This is a risk to the project because until we can get that compliance, we cannot then start the next stage, which is the chlorination stage, or the commissioning of the water treatment plant. So we can't do the commissioning till we get the chemicals. We can't get the chemicals on site till we get the compliance certification. So if we get the compliance certification next week, we're looking at around another 4 weeks for delivery because of these delays. Telemetry items have been ordered and installation will occur in about 3 weeks' time. This is for the operational monitoring purposes, but it won't impact the commissioning of the project. And then following that, once that's all completed, we'll then start looking at the transitioning from the current existing scheme to the new scheme. It'll be a whole piece of work in itself that we're starting to plan and program. Regarding the fibre installation, because we are very mindful that it's coming to lambing season, we're waiting on the contractor to still provide to us the work plan of dates that they're proposing so that we can then feed out to the property owners or farmers in question to discuss with them if that timing is going to be acceptable. So that's the latest update that we have on that project, which is obviously, as we know, a large project. And apart from that, I'll take the report as read if there's any questions.
Questions?
Yeah.
Councillor McAtimney.
Yeah, thanks, Donna. Yeah, we heard the other night at our meeting about the problems with the certification. So, who are these people, and do they bill us each time they come back? I mean, every time they add something on and come back and do a visit, are they billing the project?
Through the chair, I can't comment on that detail. I'm not quite sure myself. We definitely do get charged by them, but I can't answer, but I can find out.
Because I'm wondering, by the sound of it, I don't understand why they couldn't just put their list down right from the start. I'm assuming that they're coming back, just stretching it out, stretching their billing out. I could be wrong, but are they an independent company or a government?
They're independent, and I believe it's the third group that we've worked with this council.
Yeah, just wondering about, they keep doing it, whether they should be named and shamed, but anyhow. If I go back to, can I come ask a question from near the end of this report?
Sure.
Yeah, page 71. The pipeline renewal on Old Lake Road. So that's the faulty line, that old asbestos line that's been causing all the breaks going to the Clinton Reservoir, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'd have to get that detail for you. I'm sorry.
I think it is. And that hasn't been, so you're costing it, but it's not. It wasn't in the last Highbrow Tomahawk water scheme budget.
Through you, Mr. Jim, I think $300,000 was, but not the whole lot.
Yeah, so it's now estimated that it's probably 1.5 to do the whole lot.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I don't think we need to do the whole lot. I think the break analysis has identified where it's breaking. Do you have an update on that, Raymo?
Through your chair, the costing here is to do the whole lot. And what the team is doing is, as what Jules said, prioritizing what based on the records, asset records, which one is being, needs the repair the most. So we're still going through that process right now.
So it will be a substantial number greater than 300,000.
Not necessarily, depend on where the breaks are, because and historically, probably, I know when we did some AC analysis before, a high proportion of our breaks happen on a small proportion of our length of line. So it may be that we replace the areas where there's breaks and it moves to somewhere else on this line, but what we'd be recommending at this stage is we look at where the breaks are occurring, we take that back to the committee and say we're proposing to renew this length, and then we'll look to renew that and see if that resolves the issue. Because sometimes historically we've had batches of pipe or certain areas of ground condition where it weakens the pipe. So if that's the situation for this, then we might not have to do $1.757 million worth of renewals to fix the issue.
Yeah, but it potentially is quite a cost.
Potentially, or we might get some pretty sharp tender rates as well, so which we've had recently too.
Yeah, but it's just that if you're going to patch several bits, you'd argue whether it's better to replace the whole lot at once too.
Depends on the length, so that'll be a discussion with the scheme committee.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair. Don, on page 51, fleet. A number of years ago, I used to drive around in an old sharing hack, and then it was put to me that with the favourable pricing of the purchasing of the cars, it made financial sense. We've now finally got to the other end of this where we are selling the cars and you can see how the system works, but we've never had a breakdown of the costs to see purchased, sold, and are we, even if it's under yellow pages, able to get a look at the breakdowns so that we know the true cost of the fleet whole of life?
Through the chair, yes, absolutely, we can do that for you. Yep.
I've only got one more meeting to do it.
Through you, Mr. Chairperson. The other thing we have just done recently is gone out to local suppliers and rechecked whether they were interested in providing tenders because the AOG contract is up for renewal. We only had one supplier come back to us with a proposal, and they are already part of the AOG system. So there wasn't much of a response from our local suppliers to that recently. That was done in the last 2 months.
Yeah, which we were really surprised about.
Can I have a clarification of that? Because over the years I've had extreme jippo from the local suppliers as to the need to give them a chance. We gave them a chance and they didn't bother putting another. So I know out in the public, it is us that hasn't gone to them, and yet, for the record, quite clearly we went to them and they never came back.
Yeah, the opportunity's only recently arisen because our AOG contract had expired, so it made sense at this time to go back out and ask the locals, and we only had one response.
I want to thank you for doing that because they cleared that up, and it's something to remember as a council. We went and offered and they didn't even bother putting pen to paper. After the jippo we've got over the years, that's quite frustrating.
Councillor Herbert.
Thank you. And look, firstly, my apologies, it's a bit of a trivial matter, but just going back to, you talked about we need a smoke alarm for compliance for the new treatment plant, is that right?
Yes, through the chair, we had to put a smoke alarm in the caustic room.
Do other treatment plants have to have smoke alarms?
I'm sorry, I can't comment, I'm not too sure.
I'm just wondering, I mean, it seems if no one's living there, if the smoke alarm goes off, who's going to hear it?
It was part of the compliance certification requirements.
Is it, through you, Mr. Chairman, is it not a smoke alarm connected to our alarm system?
I was going to say, is it, that's my next question.
Yeah, it could be, so we know there's an issue rather than a normal.
Is this normal practice in a treatment plant?
We don't normally have them in our current plants, but there's new certifiers that we're using, and at the end of the day, if we don't get our location compliance certificate, our suppliers don't deliver the chemicals.
It just, you can understand, it seems ridiculous to have a treatment plant with a smoke alarm in the middle of.
It may well be connected to our alarm system, so we know.
It's frivolous, but it's the principle. Thank you.
Councillor Finch.
Thank you. I have a couple, please. On page 48, the school speed limit. What speed are we trying to get there now? Can you tell us, please?
Through the chair, so I know that the team had brought forward speed limit proposals before central government changed those.
Yes.
And we'll be bringing those forward again, I believe, to what the councillors had already determined and agreed.
Right, that's great, thank you. And on page 50 on the bottom of it, the glass recycling funding, that's really great. Where's the glass going to go? Have we got an end game for that glass?
Through the chair, so there's a couple of options that we have, like we may be able to start working with Dunedin with getting the glass sent there. If the decision, there'll be a report coming to council. It's probably going to be in the new year, I would expect, where we're putting options forward for a council decision on whether we separate the glass out by colour. And if the council makes that decision, then we do have options regards to recycling associated with that. If we don't separate by colour, which is the current case, it all gets pulled together and you can't do a lot with it, in actual fact.
Thank you. And I had the question about locals on 51, and so that's already been answered. But on page 55, please, the variance on the Melbourne pump station, it's minus 45. Was there something missed out in this contract, or do we know?
Through you, Chair, there was some additional pieces of work that had to be done. So there was a request to move where the
that's right.
chlorination shed had originally been placed.
Yeah.
We had to move that, which then had consequential costs associated with it. And also we had to put down some concrete areas so that with the shed being moved now, it was less physically strenuous, I suppose, would be a good way to put it, for teams to move those chemicals once they come on site.
Yeah.
As well as some other small pieces.
Yeah, thank you. And on page 61, Breakneck Reservoir, and it's got your telemetry and flow meter addition out of scope. Do we have an idea roughly how much that would be? And that is a good idea, having those.
Gosh, now you're trialling me out. I mean, I have signed it off. We're not talking huge money though. I think it was what, 15?
Yeah,
15,000, something like that, off the top of my head.
Yeah, and then on page 71, last question. Just have to get there, bear with me. Melton AC pipeline renewals, Melton concrete pipe renewals, Clinton stormwater network renewals, I can't even speak, and Waihola stormwater network renewals. We haven't got where that is. All the other ones have got streets and stuff where they're being done, but those ones haven't got any detail. Do you know?
Oh, have you got that with you, Roma? Otherwise, we can bring it to the.
We can provide it afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Yeah, we can bring that to the next meeting.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Yep.
Councillor Payne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Donna. I just want to take you back to page 49, and we did touch on the speed management there. And I remember when we had our friend from Mount Wallace Road here, and we were talking about, and I asked a question about Tukuiti School. They're in a very vulnerable place, and I was led to believe that it may have been on this speed limit review, or this review that we're going to do. It's not listed here. Now, they live on a very vulnerable intersection where a road comes out of the back at 100 kilometres an hour and 30 metres away from their main gateway, where the kiddies cross the road to go to the car park when you pick it up after school. It chops down to 50 or 40, whatever the school limit is. I'm disappointed that I'm not seeing it here as one of the bullet points. Is probably my point.
So through the chair, so apologies, I may have missed that out when I communicated it to the team, but we can add it in.
No, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, if you scroll up to the bottom of page 48, it mentions speed limits for schools.
Yeah, and so that is part of that. It's still going on.
That's right.
And
So those ones below, none of those ones below are speed limits for schools. All the
Right.
speed limits for schools are dealt with.
So that will be within the next 12 months.
Because that part of it wasn't changed by the ministry.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
Because it
Thanks,
is a
Jules,
dangerous
yeah.
Councillor Martin.
Through you, Mr. Chair, and hopefully I don't fatigue you with the amount of questions I've got, like
That's fine.
Councillor Finch did.
Keep you on my toes.
On page 54, well, it's to do with 7.4, the Milton streetscape. I see we've got the variance there, 836. just above that, we obtained a high-level tentative cost estimate for the water feature of the brick wall extension. We will submit the detailed report to council. When will we see that? And the other question to that is that feature part of the variance here, the savings?
Through you, Chair, so to answer your first question, that report will be coming to the 18th of September council meeting as a public excluded item because it will have commercial sensitivity with pricing. And no, they're not included in the forecast spend because it hasn't been approved.
Right. So in the variance, okay. So we've still got that 836,000 up our sleeve.
Yes, we do.
Right. I'm also touching on what Councillor Finch was talking about, the Melbourne pump station, 8.2.1. I just note, see, the original budget was 5.976 with an additional 315,000 as per the internal memo. So what's an internal memo file? My question.
So through the Chair, so part of our delegations authority and manuals, so for example, whenever a contract is ready to be awarded, we write internal memos that come up to our Chief Executive for sign off. And also our Chief Executive has delegated values that he can sign off as well, part of the manual.
Right, so that additional amount there is part of the Chief Executive's sign off.
Yes. Because it was for 2 areas, wasn't it? 2 projects.
Right. Another question just regarding 8.6, the Milton Tokoidi water contract. If I could refer back to the July report back here, the original budget was 615,000 and now it's up to 789,000. But there's no memo amount to carry forward. This is in the July report, 243K to the 25-26 financial year. But the difference in the budget's actually jumped up 100,000+ in this latest report on page 63.
So through the Chair, so originally, if you recall, Councillor, the actual budget for this project was split over 2 years at $1.4 million. And it was agreed that we wouldn't utilise all of those funds. Some of those funds would be offset for the Milton slumping project as part of that. And we've also had a variation with the Mount Killy, wasn't it?
Not Mount Killy.
Sorry.
Might have been the Wacker pump station.
Yeah.
It was about a $1.4 million project. And we reallocated the budgets to other ones. So. I wonder if the budget you're referring to previously was just the part for that financial year, Councillor Martin. I'll have to check that.
Yeah, 24-25 year.
Yeah.
That's project code 351085.
Yeah, so the funds that weren't spent were carried forward into this year as well, and then councillors made the decision for the money that wasn't required for this project to be offset to the Milton slumping project.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's actually increased, the budget's increased since the last report by 100,000+.
Through Chair, I have to check that, but we had a carry forward value which increases that budget. So if we didn't spend all the money last year, where we had a $700,000 budget, if that money wasn't, let's just say 600,000 was spent, the $100,000 unspent is carried forward into this financial year and added as part of available budget.
Right.
And councillors approve those carry forward values at a year-end council meeting.
Because the cost to date's dropped off as well from the July report into this one here. I would have thought the cost to date, the 193, would have carried forward to the cost of.
So the Chair, the cost to dates of the 25-26 financial year.
So just wipes.
We can do job to date, but at this point in time, the project manager was showing costs for this financial year because it often gets whipped.
Right.
We can progress rather. We
Right.
capitalise items, but we
Three-
can do job to date and cost to date and year to date.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, I think the issue is it's like reset on 1 July. So this is the money we're spending this financial year out of the budget for this financial year. And the report you'll be looking at was for the last financial year.
But if you like what I do for the Bruce Community Facility, how I have one table for the job to date life of the project, and then another table for the annual costs, we can certainly do that for all multi-year projects.
Yeah,
Councils
I think it'd be
like
a good thing moving forward, just to provide a bit of clarity.
That's not a problem.
There's only a couple of real critical ones, and you just have to remember the financial year tick over that it always happens.
True, but it's very easy to add that. So like with the Bruce Community Facility, how you have those two separate tables, it's not a problem for the team to do that.
Right. Just a couple more for you, Donna. Sorry, Councillor Finch. On 10.2, the Lawrence Hospital Creek, for the 25-26 budget, we've got $151,100. And in the 24-25 budget, we had $250,000 budgeted for it. So we've dropped to 100K. So has the work changed, or?
So that's the 25-26 budget. So it's a similar answer to what we were just discussing prior. The project manager has only identified this year's budgets and this year's expenditure, but we can change that moving forward.
So just to be clear though, we haven't asked for that 250 to be carried forward. It's 150 in this year's, and that was all done through the annual plan process.
Yeah. So there's going to be less work done then if it gets done this year than what was originally intended. And that would apply for the in 8.6, the Lawrence Stormwater Main Renewal in Colonsay Street. I see we've got the variance there. Well, the original budget, we had in the variance, we had a $205,000 saving. Now we're at $373,000 in the red.
Sorry, which one are you looking at, please?
8.6.
Milton Tokuiti.
Lawrence Stormwater Main Renewal.
Oh, sorry. Is that not the one?
Sure, 8.6 is Milton Tokuiti water net.
Or is it the last report?
Yeah, the last report, sorry. So that's in this report. That's the thing, yeah. No, sorry, that's the thing. It's not in this report. The Lawrence Stormwater Main Renewal was in the last report, but the job's not complete. Or is it?
I can ask Ahmed, he's right here.
Lawrence Water Main Renewal was supposed to start last year, but we were delayed.
It's a stormwater one, not the water main.
The stormwater.
Oh, the stormwater.
Oh, that's not you, that's John. Sorry. I can come back.
Through your chair, from memory, I think I've seen the practical completion for that one. It's completed. We'll double check and then we'll send to you.
Well, it's pretty obvious it's not complete because there's no curbing and channeling from the bit that you have done in the catchment and all those other sumps. And the rest of the Colonsay Street is just gravel again. And the next first rain, you're going to end up with all that gravel back down the bottom again.
So through your chair, I'll double check what was the main scope of that project because I think the curb and channel was not really there because we didn't have that budget because it was cut down from the 10ZTA budget previously.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, the original scope was for the stormwater with the intention that the curb and channel would be done through our transportation budgets. We don't have those budgets for curb and channel anymore, so we need to have a discussion about how that could be funded to do the curb and channel. Because we don't normally pay for curb and channel out of stormwater budgets. But unfortunately, there is no NZTA budgets to pay for that.
Right.
So the stormwater component's finished. We've still got to figure out how we're doing the curb and channel.
Because the councillors made a decision last financial year so our footpath and renewals, it was 70% reduced. And councillors made a resolution last financial year that all the money available for that was to be put into the Milton project. Which we did last year, footpaths.
We don't usually construct a curb and channel with footpath money, do we?
Right.
So we've got to figure out how we're paying for that.
Yeah, that's my question is so the project's actually not complete. We've got a section of it where the stormwater, all that money's been spent, but now you still can't catch the water, the stormwater to divert into those rates. So I was just wondering why it's been taken off.
Through your chair, the stormwater project is completed.
Yeah.
This is a different aspect that, as
Yeah.
Deputy Chief Exec was stating, is if we had the funds available, we would have done it at the same time.
Excuse me though, but if we go back to the original issue, was the stormwater ending up in the main street, Lawrence, from Colonzo Street, it's still going to happen because the stormwater won't get into the stormwater drain that you just put in there because there's nowhere to steer it. So the solution isn't solved. The problem is still there. That's the point of getting it.
So, Mr. Chairman, we don't disagree, but like anything else, you make decisions about priorities and budgets. Government changes budgets in terms of that side of things, and so some work won't get done. We can't get all work done now because of budgets. There's a classic case where the budget changed out from under us that would have otherwise funded that. It's not to say that there isn't a decision to be made as to if you're going to go down that pathway, and it isn't to say that there isn't a job to be done. But in terms of the project, as it was originally intended, the funding for part of that, which is the curb and channel that you're describing, was pulled out from under us.
But
So therefore it can't be done.
We had the discussion and the vote around the table and we had to prioritise, and that Milton one was burning us harder. So where does the council prioritise where the money was going?
So through you, Mr. Chairman, there could be additional funding if there's curb and channel to be funded from stormwater, but that'll be a decision we'll need to bring to council to get that project finished. So we'll make sure we bring that back.
Well, I think you'll find the Lawrence community would really appreciate if you do bring something back to council to resolve the issue, because the issue isn't resolved. And I get what Steve was saying, but the issue isn't resolved, and that's the point I'm putting in front of you. So you've spent the money, but now we can't catch the water to put it where the money's been spent.
Any further questions? Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just through you, not a question, but just on page 49, you've got the speed management, speed limit change requests. Could we add Riverside Road, Tyree Mouth to that as well? There seemed to be a reasonable number of submissions on that.
Tricia, yes, we can add that. Yep, not a problem.
So any further questions or discussion? If not, back to resolution on page 45.
That was moved, Mr. Chairman. Let me receive the
Second
report.
Councillor Herbert. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah,
That's it.
Well done.
Order. Welcome everybody to the last regulatory and community committee meeting of this triennium. And we have the apology from Councillor Ludeman, and online is Dane. So somebody, thank you, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Bolweiler. All those in favour? That is carried. And moving on, page 3 and item 1, welcome Debbie. Thank you very much. And this is Debbie's last report that she will be giving us as well. So thank you for all your effort, everything you've put into the libraries. It is very much appreciated by not only us, but by the whole community. I wish you well.
Kia ora koutou, and thank you, Gaynor, for lovely words. Yes, it is my last report, but I've only been able to do them because I've got an amazing team behind me. So I think the thank you needs to be extended to all of our staff across our 6 facilities. They love their jobs. They are totally and utterly committed to their community, sometimes to their own detriment. And I think this report is just back to our standard ones, but I think it highlights some of the challenges that they have and they work through. This report covers the activities for July, and July is always challenging for our teams because it's always the beginning of the new financial year. There's always rates and dog registrations, and some of you may be involved in doing those, but if you hear some of those transactions, they can take up to an hour as staff try and figure out where this dog's gone and which one's retired and which one's come in-house and how many they've bought during the year, and they're quite complex inquiries, as well as dealing with, obviously, people being a bit stunned by rates increases. And this year we had the added challenge of a whole new financial system that staff had to navigate, as well as customers. And to add to it, July is always school holidays. So we have our regular library programs. So our staff, I think, have done an amazing job in terms of juggling all of these things. And they really do put their best foot forward for all of our communities. We've also, since writing this, we've just recently successfully implemented the library's new management system, and the feedback that we're getting from customers is great. So if you have any time, for those of you who are readers in particular, go and have a look at our catalogue, because it's stunning. It gives you so much more information and it's very visual. So apart from that, yes, it is my last report, as I'm retiring at the end of next month after 37 years in local government. And I know that now is very much a challenging environment for local government around the country. So I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank all of you and to wish you all the very best for whatever your life's going to be or take you post the elections. So thank you very much. And I'm happy to answer any questions also too. So.
Questions? Any questions of the report, please? Councillor Bolweiler.
Just since you mentioned with staff dealing with people coming with rates, inquiries and such like, paying for rates in the libraries, service centres, has there been much feedback? The staff had to cope with much negative feedback themselves?
Absolutely, they have heard comments, but one of the things that I think is, and it's something we can treasure here with our libraries, because they are small and the staff are really well connected with the communities that they work in, what they tell me is very much that any comments or negative statements are never directed at, or very rarely ever directed at them personally, which is a really, really good thing. So people might say, oh, look, I really don't want to be paying this level of increase or whatever, but they don't get aggressive. And they will say, please, don't take this personally. We appreciate this is your job. And our staff try and help too. So we work through, particularly rates rebates. We're seeing lots of those come through, and staff take the time to work through the forms and things with people. And of course, as I said, it's been extra challenging because of the new systems. So the processes are sort of being worked out as we go through it. So, but I think all in all, it's been primarily positive for our teams.
All the best.
Councillor Phelps.
Just with the library system you were saying, is that just in Balclutha or is it at all the?
No, so the Balclutha Library, just to remind councillors, is our district library. In a city, it would be called the Central Library. It's the one facility that provides all of the services that enable the branches to operate. So the library management system, the purchase of collections, the memberships, that sort of administrative, technical library functions, they are all carried out in Balclutha on behalf of the community libraries. So they do all the back end, but that system is across our network. So we actually have a network of libraries. So there's the district library, which is Balclutha, and then there's the 4 community branch libraries. And they all rely on Balclutha to be able to provide these services.
Thank you.
Any further questions? It appears not. So we'll go back to the recommendation on page 3 that we receive the Community Library and Visitor Information Activity Report, the 4th of September. A mover, please. Thank you, Councillor Bolweiler, and second, Councillor Phelps. All those in favour? Aye. No further discussion, questions. That is passed. Well done, and look after yourself. All the best. Moving on to page 18. And item number 2, Mike, and this is for information. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm happy to take that item as read, actually, and happy to take any questions that might be.
Thank you, Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Mike. So just on number 6 of the items to note, Mike, the 2 cabins are up for sale. Is it widely known, or how are we going about selling them, or how would I know if I was looking in here at the cabin for sale?
So through you, Madam Chair, Delwyn's actually here, who is leading that process, so she might be able to give a bit of an update on that.
Councillor,
Good try.
We don't bite. Thank you.
Hi. Brian Hayden from Ray White has got them for sale, so you would have seen them in the leader.
Oh, so they are. Wait, that's good. Thank you.
Easy. Any further questions of Mike through his report? Councillor Bolweiler.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Just looking at item 2.3, page 20, which is water quality in the swimming pools. It's got a statement there that we have patrons who disrupt the chemical balance. How they might be doing that. Getting underwater or something.
Through you, Madam Chair, I think you can interpret that in ways, potential options, how that could occur.
Any further? Any further, Councillor Martin?
So you, Madam Chair. Just following up, since Kelly's been gone and things have been a bit tumultuous for you guys down here, but have any talk or thoughts on revising the pools as we decided on 2 years ago as the long-term plan? Have we got any further ahead with swimming pool reports throughout the district?
So I can answer that for Mike. So it doesn't get dropped on the spot on that one. But through you, Madam Chair, the reviews will be, and the progress on that one particularly as well, will be the subject of the first workshop coming up for the annual plan, long-term plan. And Peter Stafford has also suggested, and I said that's a great idea, Peter, that the outgoing council, which will be the next council meeting, the outgoing council, which is you, should get an update of the reviews. So it would be useful to get a summary update of the reviews, and it can be discussed as well there. So I think you'll get a picture and an ability to discuss at the council meeting, but also absolutely for the next annual plan LTP first workshop.
Beauty, thank you. Sorry to chuck you under the bus, Mike.
Just used to it.
Councillor Phelps.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Just regarding the community housing survey results, I was just wondering, I just sort of felt it was a wee bit of a low result. But, is there any way of sort of incentivising them to put a survey in? I mean, gives a bit of an indication, but I think it's less than half. You can't force them to do it, I understand, but maybe an incentive to.
Through you, Madam Chair. I think that is pretty consistent to what we've had in previous years, that response rate. But again, Delwyn's here and she might want to add to this, but we did just talk about this yesterday, this morning, about that very topic, that for next year, that we would be looking to find ways to get a much higher response rate. I guess, the key thing I would take from this is that generally it's pretty positive in terms of the responses, but yes, we really want to hear from all tenants if we can.
Hopefully they're happy that they haven't put in negative as well. Councillor Volweiler?
Just regarding the survey there, was there opportunity for respondents to put an actual written clause to that as well as just making that sort of.
Yes, so Delwyn's nodding ahead, so yes, there was. Yeah.
There's a comment section in the survey. Yeah, there wasn't very many. There was a few comments, but not a huge amount.
Okay, thanks. Well, and I noticed the dissatisfaction was mostly with the outside and the grounds. What in particular with the grounds?
It's mostly like the gardens and the lawns. Yeah, just not quite up to scratch.
They aren't, just thinking here, the grounds are really maintained for them. They don't have any responsibility themselves, do they, for gardens, grounds?
Some of them have just a little wee garden of their own just at their front. They're all different in the different locations. But then the rest of it is all by a contractor, South Roads.
Okay, so there is the opportunity for them. If they're not happy, they could do a bit more themselves around the place, perhaps.
Could do.
And through you, we do catch the clippings on those ones, don't we, Dylan?
Mostly.
Yeah. I know there's been a point bone of contention when we did our green space contract.
Well, I'll just make the observation in that most tenancies, the tenant is really responsible for the grounds of the house they rent.
Difficult when there's multiple units, so it's a lot of shared space.
It becomes more difficult, I understand. Thank you.
Councillor Phelps?
Sorry, thanks, Madam Chair. Just, sorry, I meant to ask this as well before. Defibrillators, which I think are great going around the community. I do know they have to be serviced, so who actually takes the role of that?
Again, might be.
You're nothing worse than someone's going to use it and it's not.
And the battery is replaced as
Don't
well.
look at St John, it's whoever puts them in.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They all have different batteries.
So is there a program to check those outside the units or anything like that?
Just regarding the defibrillator at Wairahuna, so it was installed at Wairahuna, wasn't it? Yeah, the hall. So that was installed. Basically, council's involvement was to approve them putting it there on the exterior of the building. So we can certainly follow up with them in terms of to make sure that it's maintained, because it's not our asset as such.
I'm just aware that they do have to be serviced.
Yeah, no, we can definitely add that to the checklist. Right.
Good question. Thank you. Any further questions, discussions? Yes, Councillor Makatamane.
Yeah, just further to the defibrillator one, as Michelle said, I think it is the community that puts it up. They're responsible. I wouldn't go anywhere near it with the council. I mean, I know our Lions Club got about half a dozen, and a couple of meetings ago they voted to go around, make sure everything was up to date, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Martin.
My 5.1, the community support status sheet. I just see the Clutha Rugby Club in the upgrading of the facilities, the current issues and barriers, waiting on plans to be approved by the CDC to progress application. Has it been with the CDC? For
Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm actually not up to speed on that one, but I can certainly find out and get back to you. Steve or Jules. Clutha Rugby Club waiting on plans to be approved by the CDC to progress their application.
Page 32.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm just not aware of anything that we'd be doing there other than potentially reimbursement of fees and charges.
No, saying waiting on plans to be approved.
Yeah, that must be.
So is it through going through building regulatory consenting?
I assume so.
Yeah,
Yep, we'll
the
find
question was, how long has it been sitting there? Because it seems to, it's under the issues and barriers.
Follow up on that and get back to you.
Thank you for that. Further discussion, question? No, thank you very much. Then we'll go back to page 18. Somebody happy to move that recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Herbert, and seconder, Councillor Payne. Thank you. No further discussion. We will put the motion. All those in favour? Those opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Thank you for that. And on to page 55, another item for recommendation, and you doing part of it?
So I'll just, thank you, Madam Chair, just like to introduce Adam Robertson.
Welcome.
We're very glad to have on board. He's acting as the new project manager, community plan projects stuff, and just liaising with groups. So he's been on board a month. Still keeps coming back, so far so good. And, so we did have a couple of updates, just in terms of, just as well in addition to what's in their report, so which we'll try and cover off between us. I guess the key from me, just note that we have over the last 6 weeks attended at least 5 different community group meetings or events, one way or the other. Lawrence Heritage Trust, Lawrence had a clubs night that Adam went to, which is just a sort of introducing new residents to the hundreds of trusts and clubs that in Lawrence. Been to community groups in Clinton, Kaitangata, and also the Clutha Parks Trust. So having Adam on board has really helped with that to to engage with these groups a bit more widely and get some other updates around.
Probably the major one, both in Milton. The Moore Park pump track has finally got its funding from DIA, so they're all go. And the dog park is moving along, nicely.
A couple of the gates, I need to go back and fix the hinges because the spring wouldn't shut them properly that we put on, so we've got to fix that up. Did you see the nice new entrance gates?
Beautiful.
They're really good, up done, nice. Councillor McCrosty.
Speaking on that, the 2 gates just by the grandstand, are they going to be unlocked again?
The black ones?
The big main chain gates, there was about 4 people the other day trying to get through and they ended up going right back round.
Yeah, no, not until the dog park is actually opened, and then those black gates are the entrance way. So we haven't finished there, so we don't want too many people at the moment. So there'll be signage go up to say, this is the way to go in when we've still got all the agility area to do yet. So there's still a little bit to go before it's open to the community. But as I say, they can come in through the other way and come through there. So it'll be advertised when it is open, and it'll have the signage there directing to those black gates to get in.
Through you, Madam Chair, just on that, I guess obviously Milton area promotions, as you know, has been leading that and have had discussions with them about having a formal opening at some stage, but that may not happen before the election. And anyway, so we've left it with them really in terms of anything around that, but it's definitely looking great, and it's a real credit to that group.
And we have the dog shower hooked up, but at the moment we've still got to do a big area around that, and then gravelling and stuff for all the water to run off through and stuff. So there's still stuff happening before it's actually finished yet. When it is, you'll hear about it. Any further questions of this report though, please, while we're on it? Questions, discussions? It appears not. Then Everybody happy? Somebody move the recommendation, so this is just for information, back on page 55. Happy to move, thank you, councillor Herbert, and seconded councillor Payne. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? That is carried. Welcome and thank you very much for your input there, Adam. Moving on to page 67, please. And welcome Olivia, and this is again for information.
Kia ora koutou. So I'll be speaking to the planning report today and also to the building and regulatory report afterwards. So in general, for the regulatory department, it's been a pretty full-on July and August. That's been with the introduction of our new system Datascape, as well as quite a lot of staff sickness. However, there is some light at the end of the tunnel now with the new system, which is really exciting. So I will take the reports as read and open up the questions, Madam Chair.
Yes, councillor Mackie.
I was talking to a firefighter the other day with regard, paid firefighter, with regard these farms that have all been planted in forestry. Is there any rules stipulating that they have to put in fire breaks and dams for aerial firefighting?
Through Madam Chair. So in terms of what the district councils, that's our council, work with, there is no rules regarding that. I know that they do have to put in wildfire fire risk assessments. However, if their management plans meet the required standard under the NESCF, which is that national piece of legislation which outlines rules that you can, activities you can do without a resource consent and means it's permitted, then that may not be required. So it's, I don't have a clear answer for you. However, it is unlikely that there is anything that councils can do in that area.
Right, because you got farms that are surrounded by forestry blocks now that they might have no escape route.
Through the chair, I'm not disputing that. It's more we are very limited with what we can do in the area under the current legislation.
Point. Very good point. Further questions? No further questions? Then we're back to the item for information, page 67, that we received the planning update report. Somebody happy to move that? Councillor Rollweiler and seconded Councillor Phelps. No further discussion. The motion, all those in favour?
Aye.
Those opposed? That is carried. Thank you for that. And moving on to item number 5, and this is also for information. Thank you.
Thank you. Same as before, I will take the report as read, Madam Chair.
So questions of Olivia from this report? Not many pages. Councillor Rollweiler.
Just on page 71, possibly you won't be able to answer this. Just the customer service requests, 110 dog inquiry. It's got the brackets. This is correct.
Does it mean rather than dog inquiries?
This is correct statement.
Yeah.
I think Michelle's put that there just in case somebody queries the number.
Yes.
Yeah, this is correct.
There isn't a lot to this.
And I guess the other, then what are the dog inquiries generally about?
Related to.
Through the
It's
chair,
a
Wendy
variety.
maybe.
There's a variety.
Yes, I'm mindful as well that in July and August is a really full-on time for the animal control team because that's when the registrations happen and the tags go out and the fees are going out as well. So potentially it's linked to that and that's why it's been particularly high. However, I can check with Michelle and get back to you. Yeah, okay.
And 31 wandering dogs, which is a little bit high and alarming at this time of the year as well. Councillor Mackie.
Those dog tags, if an old person's got a bit of arthritis in their fingers, I wonder how they're going to get them squeezed together to go click. Because they are not easy, not even easy for my big hands.
Through the chair, I don't have any comment to make.
And do you go back to the original colour about every 3 years? Through the 3 to 4 years?
Yeah.
Because I got a dog with about 2 red ones on it now.
Yeah.
Red this year.
Through the chair, we do run
Not
out of.
remove them.
No, I don't take them off.
No, put it on.
Give another off them.
Why would you leave them on? Then that's confusing when they get, if they get caught, as to you have to go through Councillor Phelps.
Just further to that, because I've had a few people actually come to me about it as well, the dog tags. Have you ever thought of going to the metal ones like they do in Dunedin, and that metal tag is for the dog for life sort of thing? So instead of getting a new one each year, you have that one metal one. There's a lot of people saying, I know it's only a little bit of plastic, but they say, why are we getting a new one each year? Whether, like in Dunedin, for example, you get one metal one, it lasts the life of the dog. Supposedly the life of the dog.
Through the chair, I'd have to check whether we've thought about it before. It's a good idea, and I can take it back to the team and see if it is an option for us.
Thank you.
I suspect, Madam Chair, it's all about how easy it is to tell some of the things registered or it's not registered, and that's why they nationally have the colours agreed, so that it's a national colour each year. So everybody understands that, because dogs transfer from one to the other, and that. So I suspect it's that, and if you've got a problem with the one sort of tag, there's a different sort of tag. You can use the discus there as well, so there's lots of different options.
Thank you for that. Any further discussion, questions? It appears not. Thank you very much. Then we'll put the, somebody willing to move the recommendation back on page 69. Thank you, Councillor Kennedy, and seconder, Councillor Mackie. No further discussion. All those in favour? All those opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time, people.